now I'm kind of in on the 49ers. 49ers fans, you've kind of made me cave. It's not been you guys, though. It's been the play of Trey Lance in training camp. I want to talk about the Niners. I'm not big on Trey Lance. We've talked about him. And I think it's because he didn't prove that much to me in college. I know he only started a few games last year, but he didn't look amazing. Some of his touchdowns, even in the preseason game, were to wide open guys. So I don't love Trey Lance, and people love him. I'm not really high on Trey Lance. I'm starting to think this offense can overcome Trey Lance being meh. Because I still will stand by my opinion that I think Jimmy G should be their starter. I no doubt still think that. But if Trey Lance, maybe his arm isn't as good as Jimmy G's, but if he can still be mobile and if he can still make plays, their offense will be carried by the rest, by Kyle Shanahan. Still, no matter who's in their backfield, they'll have a great run game because the style of offense, and they have a good O-line.
O-line's good.
Re-signed Debo, can run the ball. Huge year out of Brandon Ayuk, I think. I think last year he was supposed to be the receiver 1. Debo came out of nowhere, and people are acting like he's a receiver 2 in the NFL now. No. Brandon Ayuk can be a receiver 1, and they have George Kittle, who you think is the best tight end in football for some reason. I think he's the 2. So I think this offense, my shift in mindset wasn't about Lance. It was that their offense can overcome even if Lance plays poorly. However, I don't think he will play poorly. I think he'll be fine. I just think it's not going to be as good as Justin Fields.
Yeah, so I want to quickly talk about Trey Lance because I believe in him a little bit more than you. Your argument with Jimmy G was always, it's not pretty, but they win games.
Yeah.
And I see that argument. I agree. Winning games is the most important thing. With that being said, Trey Lance's versatility offensively and the way he plays the game could open up their offense and turn them into something so much greater than they were. Obviously, there's risk to reward, and you could have said, well, they were winning games with Jimmy G, why pull him now? I think that there's a chance that Trey Lance makes them so much more than they were with Jimmy G, and I think it's a risk to take it, but it could pay off.
So here's what I'm going to compare it to. So with Jimmy G, I think we'd all say the Niners are going to win somewhere between 9 and 12 games. Let's say we'd predict them to win 11 games. I think that's fair.
I feel like...
What do you say, 10?
Yeah, maybe 10. Maybe.
I mean, they were a really good team last year with Jimmy G. Let's say 10. Trey Lance, if he's great, I think they win 12.
Yeah.
If he's bad, they could win 6. Their ceiling gets higher with Trey Lance.
Risk.
Their ceiling gets higher with Trey Lance. Their floor gets lower. But I think their floor gets lower by a greater amount than their ceiling gets higher, if that makes sense. Sure. And I don't think we're at the point where they can't win a Super Bowl with Jimmy G. I think they can be better than the Rams with Jimmy G. I think the Buccaneers are weak. They can make it back there with Jimmy G. But if they want to win it, Trey Lance might give them a better chance at his peak. I just wish they could do it in a way without alienating.
Just worried about his floor.
It's just a shame they couldn't have done it without alienating Jimmy G. Yeah. Because if they could ask him back if Lance is bad, and my prediction is that Lance isn't going to get them to the top of the ceiling. And I think although he's not going to hit his floor, I don't think there's going to be a point. I don't think Trey Lance gives them a better opportunity to win 12 games than Jimmy G. I would take Jimmy G all day to win more games. And obviously, it maybe gives them a better chance at a Super Bowl, and that's all Niners fans want. I would have stuck with Jimmy G.
Mm-hmm. It's something to think about for sure because the truth is that they're kind of opposites in the sense that Trey Lance is a very flashy quarterback. He shows a ton of promise and really does a little bit of everything. His ceiling's very, very high, whereas Jimmy G is just kind of your guy that'll win you some games. It won't be pretty. Might have more turnovers than touchdowns, but who knows at the end of the day. I think that the 49ers almost could be more suited for a quarterback like Trey Lance, though, just based on the weapons.
I mean, they could use anyone because they have the weapons to compensate for a non-mobile quarterback, and they also have the weapons that getting a mobile quarterback would just make them ultra scary.